Greetings, Alafia, Uncle Chasaneb. This your boy Capra Batam coming back at you today. And today we're going to talk about why the ancestors are important. In most ancient African traditions, the ancestors are the first to be appeased. It is the secret of cultivating spiritual power. And it is through your ancestors, because your ancestors have the wisdom and the energy that goes all the way back to the primordial times, that is the beginning of creation itself. When the ancestors are not appeased, they can interfere with your day-to-day life, and they can cause you to go through repeated negative cycles. These type of cycles will visit upon you things that you consider to be disagreeable. Things that you don't want to see continuing to go on over and over and over again in your life. So when you call upon your ancestors, you have to have those of upright character. Otherwise, you're going to be calling upon those ancestors who did all those raunchy things in which you do not want to see repeated in your own personal life. So you want to make a list of the names of your ancestors. And you want to make sure that these are ancestors of good character. You want to make a list of all the relations and the relatives that you have that have crossed over to the other side. Now, don't call on those who were child murderers, molesters, and did all kind of negative things, right? Those that you know who are of foul character, that is. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But you have to make sure that you're calling upon those ancestors that represent a certain energy that you want to bring into your life. So those who lived foul lives, right? And it's not to judge anyone, it's just to make sure that you don't have this particular thing going on in your life over and over again, where you find yourself having these stories of blockages playing themselves up over and over in your life, okay? So we call the names of our ancestors, we activate those energies. Not only just around us, but we also activate these energies within us. In fact, your DNA is voice activated. So you want to make sure that you're calling upon those ancestors that represent those heroes and those who worked hard for you to be where you're at today, because we stand upon the shoulders of those who have come before us. So when you call on those ancestors, you want to activate those energies, because these are going to give you the ashe. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your immediate ancestors, going all the way back to the beginning. You want to make sure that you call on your immediate ancestors first before you call on your ancient ancestors. Because a lot of times we want to jump all the way back to ancient times. You see what I mean? But they're removed from you to a degree. That's why you call on your ancestors, from those who had just passed on all the way to those who lived maybe thousands and even tens of thousands of years ago. But at the most, it's good for you to be able to have a list of those names of those who you can remember, and listen to those stories that your parents and grandparents tell. Get the obituaries of your ancestors and those who have passed on, because those are the names that you're going to call upon. You see, the problem is that we have been so indoctrinated to not believe in our ancestors. We have been taught to call on everybody else's, especially when you join some other religion. And I'm not telling you not to respect these traditions and religions if they got you to where you're at today. But what I am telling you is that the reason why a lot of times we're having family issues and battles is because we're calling upon every other energy in the universe except those energies that are going to lift us up, because we've been indoctrinated to cultivate these ideas that have come through mind control by the religions that were introduced to us by slavery and everything else. So these are the things that you want to break. So when you work with your ancestors, what you're doing is that you're tuning in and you're asking not only for their help and their memories, for those who are herbalists, those who are doctors, those who are warriors, those who are freedom fighters and everything else, but you're also, right, happen to elevate those who are stuck. You see what I mean? You don't want to put pictures of slaves on your shrine or slave paraphernalia on your shrine and stuff like that. Don't put that on your shrine. Put those things on your shrine that will remind you as well as encourage them to move forward. Because everything that's happening outside of you is also happening within you. Your ancestors exist within you, but they also can act through you so that things in your environment reflect your progress. Ashe? So what you do is you set up an altar for your ancestors. But don't put the pictures of those who are alive in the same picture as those who have passed. In fact, don't put anyone living, that is, in this realm, on your ancestral shrine. Only put those pictures of those who have crossed over. And from time to time, you give them water, you give them a white candle, give them flowers, But it's also important to know what your ancestors ate. Now, 9 times out of 10, if your grandma and grandpa ate yams, greens, and so forth, then put some yams, some greens, and some cornbread. Some people can't eat cornbread. It messes their stomach up. It depends. If you can't eat it, then, you don't have to eat it yourself. And why do I say that? Because it's good to sit down and eat with your ancestors. And when you sit and eat with your ancestors, you're doing 2 things. Not only are you connecting with those ancestors and you're feeding them and strengthening their energy, but you're also establishing a rapport with your ancestors. Okay? So you want to acknowledge those ancestors. Acknowledge how they may have died, right? For those who have died tragically, you want to list how they may have died. And you want to ask to elevate those particular energies and so forth. Now, one thing that people may find that when you connect with your ancestors, they may start talking to you in dreams and so forth. It's good for you to have a dream book, Write down your dreams and what they're saying to you, because a lot of times great-great-grandma may come back and teach you some things, even when it comes to herbs and natural remedies and cures. A lot of us threw away grandma's remedies. It's time to pick grandma's remedies up again. See, all this is part of your ancestral legacy. But if you continue to ignore your ancestors, you may miss a lot of opportunities for your own growth and development and pass down the same crap that has come to us to the next generation. And what you want to do is you want to stop the negative cycle. And that's why it's important to talk to your ancestors. In the Yoruba tradition, we call on those ancestors who are at the feet of Olodumare or at the feet of the Most High. That is, you want to call on those ancestors of a high level of vibration. Those ancestors who may have died due to having a violent life or so forth, or those ancestors who are considered to have been child molesters or rapists. What you do with that, right, since you don't want to bring that into your life, what you can do is you can write a separate list of those particular ancestors if you know who they are. And you light a candle for their elevation. Okay, this is where the alchemy comes into play, because you want to transmute that energy into an energy that's going to be beneficial. So you want to disperse the negative energies that are coming into your life, and you want to replace those negative energies with more positive energy so that you can move forward. The ancestors will bring forth the Ashe, that is the spiritual power for you to do your other work. Let's say you work with Orishas, Loas, Abosam, Neteru, and so forth. When you work with your ancestors, they will give you the Ashe to do so. A lot of times people may go to deities and attempt to work with them and discover they may have minimal results. One of the reasons may be is because they lack Ashe. A lot of traditions also require initiation, but that's another topic. But anyway, I'm going to sign out. With more to come later. This your boy, Kepra Bata, saying peace, love, and blessings.